Hello, I'm Thomas Stanley, and thank you for viewing my video for acceptance into UWA's Instructional Leadership Program. First question that I want to answer is, describe the professional journey that has brought you to the present. What are your short and long-term goals? So my professional journey in education started out as a substitute and an after-school teacher. The substitute teacher taught me a lot of things that I use currently. I try to make sure that I have lesson plans laid out and roles laid out for any time that I might be out, and I always have a backup plan because you never know when you might have an emergency that you're not able to go in that day. And the after school taught me a lot of things as well. One of the biggest things with after school is dealing with parents. So with after school, we had to answer several questions, and a lot of times I was unsure of the answers to the questions, and so I would have to be able to contact the teachers to get the answers to the questions that the parents had. Later, I worked as an instructional aide for a 6th grade class. I was an aide in there with a behavior student, and so that job taught me a lot of patience. I had to come up with creative ways to keep the student focused and to keep them out of fights and other mischief. So, and I also had to try to I found the biggest thing with him was just being able to talk with him and see, hey, what's going on? Why are you doing this today? Sort of like a counselor type position. I was also able, as I was traveling with the behavior student, to observe and learn many skills from the various teachers that we visited, and I still to this day use some of those same lessons that I saw as I was traveling with that student. My next position, I covered a medical leave of absence for a lead teacher in an inclusive special education classroom. That job taught me how to really read IEPs, know what's going on, and try to figure out what's the best thing for students that had differences. And I finally accepted my first general education teaching position within the 3rd grade. I've had the opportunity to teach in 3rd, 4th, and I currently teach 5th grade science. During the years that I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I have been able to teach every subject, and this has allowed me some insight into challenges that teachers face in different grades and in the different subjects. For my goals, I'm excited to start the journey at UWA to help me gain some necessary skills and to help me as a classroom teacher. I feel like I'll be able to gain and benefit from some of the skills and knowledge from UWA. And then later, my long-term goal is to become an administrator. I hope to use my experiences and knowledge to help other teachers effectively teach and provide our future generation with the knowledge and the skills to be successful in life. And for my second question, how would you identify a teacher's passion for his or her subject matter as you observe instruction? So, to identify a teacher's passion for his or her subject matter, I would look for a teacher that is excited about what they're teaching. As I looked at this question, I started thinking back to some of my past teachers and even some of my past administrators, and the ones that really stand out, those are the ones that were passionate. Those are the ones that I'll always remember because they were always looking back, and even seeing some of the ones now, they're always open. They're always looking at new ideas. They're open to change, and they're open to criticism. So they're able to teach with enthusiasm, and they have the ability to inspire students. Some even inspire staff. the the teacher should also be able to reteach after checking for understanding to define and to meet the student's needs. For the third question, describe at least 3 instances in which differentiated instruction is an absolute must, and how would you, as the instructional leader, encourage a teacher who is not differentiating instruction? So, differentiated instruction is a must within a diverse population, and that's most schools right now. Most schools have EL learners that need the differentiated instruction in order to comprehend vocabulary. So for a teacher that's not differentiating instruction, the first thing that I would do is suggest word walls and then maybe some charts and images to help these students with their vocabulary. Another instance that requires differentiation is with kinesthetic learners, such as students with ADD or students with ADHD. This would also help the majority of students because these students, they need hands-on activities and even technology with interactive lessons. So I would make sure the teacher knew that students would benefit from those activities. And then a third instance that would require differentiation is with special education students. So for a teacher that's not differentiating, I would suggest flexible grouping that would create partnerships and to teach students to work collaboratively on tasks. And once students feel comfortable, they usually start challenging and encouraging each other. And for my fourth question, why is feedback important to teachers and students? Describe 3 ways to provide effective feedback. So first, feedback, it should always be done in a timely manner for it to be effective. And that's for students and for teachers. So one way to provide feedback is to explain and to set expectations, but at the same time make sure, whether it's a student or with a teacher, make sure they know you're there to help. You're not there to talk down on them. You're there to be a coach or a friend, someone to help out. Another way that you can provide feedback is by showing appreciation. Small but honest comments, they can go a long way. Simple things. And with kids, if they feel like they don't fit in, they're not going to learn. Even with teachers, I've seen it with them as well. Make sure they know, hey, we want you to be here. You're part of us. And finally, when giving feedback, help the person by setting goals and small, achievable steps to achieve the big picture. With kids, I always try to make sure I set goals with them that they can see, that are achievable, because if you set a long-term goal, they'll give up sometimes. So if you set short, attainable, to where they can visualize it and say, okay, by the end of today or the end of this week, and set those daily, weekly, monthly goals so that at the end they do achieve that big picture. I appreciate your time and consideration, and I look forward to joining UWA. Thank you.